Paul was taken as a prisoner in Jerusalem. On their way to Rome, Paul and his fellow prisoners, along with the ship's crew, had been shipwrecked on an island called Malta and cared for by the islanders. After 3 months on Malta, they boarded another ship and continued their journey. Eventually, the ship did arrive in Rome. The disciples had heard that Paul was coming, so many of them went to the port to meet him and travel back to Rome with Paul. These men encouraged Paul, and he thanked God for them. Paul needed such encouragement as it was a very difficult journey. In Rome, Paul was allowed to stay in a house he had rented and receive visitors. He was still a prisoner, so a soldier guarded him. This didn't stop him from preaching the gospel. First, Paul called the chief Jews to come to his home. He explained he had committed no crime, and he wanted them to know he was bound with this chain because of the hope of Israel. They said they wanted to hear about his Christian faith that all the people were talking against. They set a time to meet and discuss this. When the day came, many more people came to the place where Paul was staying. He talked to them from morning until evening about the kingdom of God and tried to convince them about Jesus. Some believed the things he taught them, some did not. Paul told them their reaction was predicted by the prophet Isaiah. Their hearts were hard, and they had closed their eyes and their ears to God's truth. He explained, "Therefore, I want you to know that God's salvation has been sent to the Gentiles, and they will listen." Paul's first calling was to speak to Jews, to share Jesus' resurrection and salvation through grace. But they wouldn't listen and were always against him. So Paul committed to speaking only to non-Jews, people called Gentiles. Paul was able to live in this rented house for 2 years, where he spent his time teaching about the kingdom of God and about Jesus.